How's it going, guys? Copy here. Today I wanted to go over some new things we've learned for scaling Carino and some key things I guess we took for granted that changed without us really knowing it. So first things first, let's go over the new basically damage that I'm up to with this. I believe I'm a little over 500 billion now. Without honestly changing too much, like the things that I added, it didn't really cost more money. It's literally just changing stuff out to get to where we are using different slates instead with specific mods that we know are now better, that we didn't realize the importance of them because we thought things were working in a different way. So you can see here it's a little over 500 billion. I was able to do Deepspace with this without any issues. We can probably run another Deepspace map after this just to showcase what's going on. But first things, yeah, let's kind of look at what has changed that we didn't know about. So prior leagues or prior seasons, Path of Flames was always scaling off of cast speed. And the importance, so when you're playing either cast while channeling builds or certain other things, you are basically always trying to get your Path of Flames cast speed as high as possible so that you could trigger things more often based off of hitting your max channeling stacks, things like that. Same thing goes with our burst activation, since what is actually triggering our helmet here is, getting one stack of spell burst whenever we are, every time you go up one channeling stack on Path of Flames, it is considered using a skill another time. So that's what we are trying to scale, which before we thought this was basically scaling cast speed, but turns out they changed something and it no longer scales cast speed. So if you look at the cast speed here that we see on the bar, it is showing only 4. And if we actually look at cast speed in the tree, it no longer shows cast speed at all for Path of Flames. It used to always be a value up here showing your cast speed or how many times you're casting it per second, which was basically, so you know that when you're scaling it, you know exactly how many ticks of channeling stacks you are getting every second with it. But something has changed. We're fairly positive it just scales on cooldown recovery now, but it doesn't state the value anywhere, so we don't really know. So it is important to just remember, so before we were scaling some cast speed in certain places that it just turns out is absolutely unnecessary because it's not actually doing anything. So what this means is that if there is some cast speed nodes that we have, we don't actually need them. So we are taking, we aren't actually taking any here. The only cast speed we do have is going to be in the Warlock tree here. So if we actually get a different source of mana recovery, so if we get it on a slate or something else, then that means we will be able to drop those 6 points there, and our damage should just basically go up, or should change based off of that, and we shouldn't need to do anything. So speaking of which, the mod that we want to basically be going after and prioritize now is this actual mod here. This 70% of the bonuses for movement speed are also applied to cooldown recovery speed and mobility skills. And then the 70% of bonuses are also applied to attack and cast speed. So the attack and cast speed part doesn't do anything for Path of Flames, we've realized. We've had people testing with just adding 300% cast speed, and it doesn't affect anything at all. So it appears to be only scaling off of cooldown recovery now, rather than cast speed at all. So you are going to basically be wanting to search for corners for this. If you are someone who already has up to a prairie, then you're going to want to basically use a prairie and stack. From what people are seeing, it's basically you want to get 4 of these mods total. Your bet's basically what you're trying to do, is get up to 4 of these total. Preferably you can get them. Oh yeah, we can't actually get one. People know about this mod. They need the cast speed mod, or the mana recovery mod rather on that. So, but pretty much we're going for, we are just trying to get to the point where you are using this mana speed or this movement speed mod, preferably on 2 slates. Make sure you have them on the bottom so that you can get it with your, you can duplicate it with prairie, basically, is kind of what you're looking to do. So, yeah, this is pretty much where we're at with the build, or what you're kind of trying to lean towards. Right now, I just have 3 of them on. If I added a 4th, then I will be able to get more. But right now, I'm basically just saving my money to go and get a prairie, because that's going to be the next best thing. So you see I ended up moving to 2 Fallen Starlights right now, just so I picked up one of these mods for now. buying the Fallen Starlights with the 70% mod are actually pretty expensive. So I just put a blur one in here for now. This will end up changing out at some point, and then we'll end up, running a prairie in here, and then this will probably turn into like a Fallen Starlight or something else as well. So we'll affix the tree, I guess, when we actually get to that point. But I just basically wanted to let people know, again, the 70% movement speed mod is actually really important to have more than one of, or even more than two of, because my damage when I equipped the third one, even taking off like a high damage slate, or a high damage corner rather, that was giving me this 8% mod here for extra wilts. It's still making me get more wilt stacks overall, because the total spell burst stacks were triggering more often, which was getting burst to trigger more often with the burst activation in the helmet. So that's kind of where we're at with it. So when it comes to loot and doing other things for the trees, I was still just, for doing Deepspace, I haven't really dug into it too hard myself yet. But so I'm just been running the same compasses that I've been running on this. I've only ran a couple maps on this. I'm still not quite at the damage to comfortably do this yet, so I haven't actually been messing around with it much, but let's go ahead and showcase it for a video, just so you guys can see that the damage is in fact there for doing this on Deepspace with this. So the number one thing is you'll notice things do take a little bit longer to die. Rares are scarier with this mode, and I am still having to run my DPS pets for this. Though pretty much what I've noticed is that so far this league, the majority of the money is coming from league mechanics or just like memory drops, right? So you'll see people, they are running God of Machines in maps to get fluorescent memories or fluorescent, memory shards, whatever you want to call them, in order to basically, they're just using that and abusing that with Kong. But the amount of like raw FE drops that you're getting, like this is Deepspace even, right? Even without the loot pets, this should be significant amounts of FE dropping, and it just doesn't really happen inside of the maps. But what we have noticed, though, is in Profound and in the Profound version of the canvas, you actually start seeing the 50 stack of FE quite frequently. Like it's very frequently. It's like, it seems like it's almost every canvas. It's probably closer to 75% still with the ones that I've been getting, but it's enough that being able to do the canvas on Deepspace, which I'll be practicing or doing later today, I should be able to push my damage to kind of get there. Should get to the point where we're getting enough value out of it that even if we are going to be wasting, or I guess using, Deepspace beacons, which are like around 10 FE each, hopefully it should still be profitable enough with the canvas that we are getting our money back out of that. So I'm going to have to test it. Right now, the Profound ones are still just using T8 beacons, which are like 1.5 FE each. So that one has been guaranteed money for me. I've just been making a ton. We're basically just saving up to get a prairie as our next purchase, and then we're just going to take it from there. So you can see here again, the build is capable of doing Deepspace stuff. It's not super fast yet, right? Things still are taking a bit of time because turns out 500 billion DPS is still not quite enough to do Deepspace super quickly. But yeah, for those who are playing the build, I wanted to basically let people know. Again, this is kind of the direction you want to take it if you are going to use this burst version of the build. So it is important to get at least 2 or more of those mods right now. So that has definitely changed from the last version I had yesterday. I didn't realize the importance of this mod, and we didn't realize until we just basically got around to testing it. So yeah, with Path of Flames fundamentally changing, it changes things a bit. So we realized now we've been wasting some mods thinking cast speed is important and useful, and it's basically just not. So keep in mind that for gearing, for other things. So, keep stacking your blur effect, and then keep stacking your movement speed however you can. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And other than that, see you in the next one.